High school football in Arkansas has been a big deal for a long time.
That's why when the Village Academy Beavers started winning big games against out-of-state opponents back in the 80s, they attracted some attention. The only problem? The school didn't exist.
THV 11's Carter Thweet has the scoop on this all-time Arkansas prank.
Jessieville High School, about 30 minutes north of Hot Springs in Garland County, and in the mid-1980s, home to band director Bob Civils and girls basketball coach Gary Crowder.
In 1986, Jessieville was a football program that had just a couple of years into its existence.
Most Friday nights in the fall, the two men would attend games at this field. Then they would report the scores to the local papers. But they got the sense the local papers didn't know too much about the schools they were writing about. And that's when an idea started to form.
They'd say, okay, you're Jacksonville. We'd say, no, we're Jessieville. Okay. And you're the Eagles. No, we played the Eagles. We're the Lions.
I made the comment, I said, I bet you could just call a score in and just, they'd probably just put it in the paper. They probably don't even have any idea where we're from, who we are, or anything.
So they started creating their fake team.
I lived in Hot Springs Village at that time. We thought, well, there's no school in the village, so maybe we could just have a school right there and we could just call our school Village Academy.
They decided the prank might work as long as the academy only played out-of-state teams and didn't win too much. It was Civils who made the first phone call.
So I went over there and made our phone call for Jessieville. Then I hung up. This was before caller ID. And so then as soon as I hung up, I dialed again and I said, we have the Village Academy football score.
And he says, well, what's your mascot? Well, Bob had never even thought about that, Bob and I hadn't even discussed that. So Bob just comes up with the name, Beavers, okay? So he makes up the name Beavers.
And the next day, when the Arkansas Gazette appeared on front porch steps across the state.
Saturday morning gets here, we rush out to get our newspapers, and there it is, okay? Village Academy has played their first game.
A somewhat modest start, a 6-6 tie against Rayville, Louisiana.
Our offense just wasn't clicking very well that night.
I guess not. Program opener.
The program, that's right. We were lucky to put those 6 points on the board.
Yeah.
So
there was one bright spot, 94 yards and a touchdown for a player named Jess Norman.
Our principal at Jessieville during those days was a guy named Norman Jesperson. So Bob and I just put our heads together and thought, hey, you know, why don't we just turn his name around and we'll invent this guy named Jess Norman.
And Norman put up huge numbers in nearly every game. Schools like Yale and Dartmouth took notice, sending recruiting letters that went to Crowder's address. And as the prank grew and the school was featured in papers like the Arkansas Democrat and Arkansas Gazette every week, more and more people wanted in on the action.
We would get calls from coaches, or Bob would get calls from band directors, and they'd say, hey, I want to see my name in the paper. Can I score a touchdown for the opponent?
Shirts, bumper stickers, a fight song, all hallmarks of the growing Beaver fan club in Jessieville and beyond. But all good things must come to an end. And after 4 years, this prank did too, with an anonymous letter to an Arkansas Democrat reporter named Robert Yates. In his words, he was
very young and very green. Probably one of the hoax worked.
The letter may have been anonymous, but not to Crowder and Civils.
We had an elementary principal that was a little concerned about whether we'd get caught and it'd blow up and not look good.
He didn't think it was right for us to be calling in fictitious scores.
As you'd expect, the two men did manage to have a little fun before calling it quits, hosting an end-of-the-season banquet once they were found out. Nearly 100 people piled into Rod's Pizza Cellar in Hot Springs for the occasion. For Yates' part, he thought it was funny, and it saved him some work.
It worked out really good for me because at that time I was writing columns. That knocked out 1 week of a column.
That column ending with a simple phrase, "You got us." They certainly did, and nearly 40 years later, the legend of the Beavers lives on.
It's just one of those things that it's never going to die.
It really brings a little smile every time I see it.
We fight and win for the Village Academy, so fight Beavers, win tonight. Hey.
In Jessieville, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.